Welcome to Joe's Astrology. Today is Thursday, August 11th, 2024. And we have a pileup of planets in Pisces and Aries and Taurus, with the moon just leaving Taurus today. So I want to talk about what this means, and I want to talk about house emphasis and some other things that we see in the chart and what they mean. So right now, a couple points I want to make. A lot of people watch um, these forecast videos, not necessarily on my channel, but other channels. And the truth of it is, you really need to see how things match up to your natal chart, and that's why I emphasize learning astrology and astrology readings. And understanding it for yourself, because it can be expensive to get astrology readings. So yeah, back to the idea that you really need to see how it works in your chart. I just had somebody ask me this the other day, and this is how I answered that you need to see what it looks like in your chart and how it relates to your baseline natal chart. You also have the solar return we can look at, the progress chart, and the lunar return, and even the solar arc. And these are the basics of astrology. The sun sign isn't the basic. Sun sign, moon sign, that's not the basics of astrology. Basics of astrology are the transits, the solar return, the lunar return, the progress chart, and the solar arc. And that can be a lot to take in, and I'm going to do videos on those, so stay tuned as well. I'm going to show you how you can take your year and break it down completely, and really look at what you want to do and how it compares, how it relates to what's going on with the planets, and how you can kind of emphasize and really put more emphasis on what you want to do and make your year better than ever. So stay tuned for that. And just to get into this a little more, we have a house. Let's start with Aquarius. Let's start with Pisces. Let's say you have a Pisces rising. Chances are, depending on the degree, you're going to have this buildup of planets in the first to second house. And if you're Pisces rising and you're at, like, let's say 13 degrees Pisces rising, it's going to be a huge pileup in the first house. And just generally speaking, I'm going to go around the houses and speak about what that could mean. Again, you have to look at the specific chart. If you're watching these forecast videos, this is just the beginning of you learning astrology. And to get real specific, you probably have to speak to a professional astrologer. So first house, Pisces, we got the big pileup in the first house. There could be a lot of issues that have to do with first house things. The body, you becoming something. The idea of what are you going to become? Maybe questioning that. There could be some very personal. You could be going through some very personal issues right now that no one can really speak about without knowing you intimately. You could be starting something. You could be excited about starting something new. We could go to the second house, and let's say you have Aries rising. You could have a little bit of that, what I just mentioned, because Aries rising, you'd have some planets in your first house. And we're gonna kind of go backwards here. I might have misspoke. You have some planets in your first, and you'll have many planets in your 12th. So you could be very much involved in things that are behind the scenes right now. You might not be very outspoken. You might be reclusive at this point, maybe even a little bit tired, reflective, religious, spiritual right now, into spiritual things. We can put Taurus on the rising, and you may, with Taurus on the rising right now, you may find yourself around friends, or having issues around friendships, old friends, new friends, anything that has to do with friendships. You may be focused on your goals right now. You may be very hopeful right now. And again, just to reiterate, all I'm doing is just looking at the general descriptions for the houses and coming up with things that this could suggest. Without knowing you personally in your life, there's no way to really tell which one it's going to be. We can look at Gemini rising. Gemini rising, you may have issues with the career right now. The career may be coming into prominence. You may be losing your career. You may be having issues with what your public image is right now. Cancer rising could be going on a foreign trip. You could be starting to think about higher education. You could be, maybe you picked up a new book that you started reading. Maybe you're going again like you're going on just a regular vacation. Leo rising could be getting into things like astrology, the occult. On a more negative level, there could be a lot of issues with hearsay right now. You could have issues with your taxes. That could be popular right now, with tax season coming up, or with tax day coming up. Maybe you take out a loan. You have issues with loans. I know for me, in my lunar return, I have a lot of the planets in the 8th house in my lunar return, and as soon as the lunar return hit, I had someone approach me asking me to use my credit for a loan for them, that they would sell something and then immediately pay back as soon as they sold this car. And that occurred as soon as that lunar return hit, with that stack up of planets in the 8th house. We could have Virgo rising. With Virgo rising, we could have a stack up of planets in the 7th house. You could be dealing with relationship issues, breakups, starting relationships. Just a lot of focus on other people and not as opposed to yourself. Libra rising could be going through a romance period. Maybe you meet someone and you have a pleasurable experience. You could also be taking a vacation here. Doing something that involves pleasure, something that involves taking care of children. It could also be gambling may increase in your life, and you may be taking some risk, or you might want to take some risk right now. Scorpio rising. Issues of the family could come up. And this loosely could be, this could be Sag rising, Scorpio rising. It depends on the chart again. But let's say Scorpio rising and that stack of planets is in your 4th house. You could be feeling like just staying home right now. Issues of the family could come up. Issues of real estate. You could be thinking about your home and what it means for what the future has to do with where you live and where you want to live. Sagittarius rising, which will put these planets in the 3rd house. Issues with siblings could come up. You might take a short trip to another state during this time. You may be focused on your neighborhood. Issues with neighbors could come up. Capricorn on the rising, this will put you in your 2nd house. Big financial issues right now with the 2nd house pileup of planets. You may receive a financial windfall. You may just simply sit down and look at your budget and want to look at your finances. 1st house. Aquarius rising. That would put the pile of planets in the 1st house as well. I don't know if I did that right, but we covered them all for the most part. We covered them all. I hope that helps. Also, if you have a pileup of planets in your natal chart, on the eastern half, which would be the left side of the chart, usually you have more free will as opposed to planets on the western part where they're setting, where other people, when the planets are setting, you have other people more involved in your destiny. The planets are at the apex there, at the midheaven. You're going to have um, something to do with your public image in this life, and they will usually come to prominence in the middle of life, and then the planets at the northern or the so the orientation is backwards from what we're looking at. The planets at the bottom of the chart, things are likely more to occur later in life. And something else I want to mention, just a little bit of a rant. If you made it this far, I hope you do subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of great content coming up on astrology and just general life advice. And this video is pretty raw. This is unscripted. This one's going to be, some of them are edited. This one's going to be unedited for the most part. And I think it's, as a general rule, you can really look at people's who are doing videos. And I know as you get farther along in your YouTube journey, your videos can improve. But these videos with people with the captions on the bottom and the changing of angles constantly, and what looks completely like a performance, they are getting most of the attention in general. And you could say, this is what the news does, and they're getting most of the attention. And from my perspective, this is something that people need to look at. The effort and the effort that goes into all that, and it's like all just to get attention. I have to question what they're saying, what the information that they're giving, and this is what most people are watching. So I just wanted to mention that if people are watching my channel or other channels, I have many small YouTubers that I can recommend where the information is 10 times better than any famous YouTuber, and there's a good reason for that. So I just want to mention that as well. Little Mars Saturn today, hitting my channel with the harsh truth. So I hope this finds you well, and have a great day.